Most of the audience needs more than just generic hints and strategies. So today we're going to be giving you a list of projects that I have invested into or plan to invest into in the next few weeks. And these are all gaming and metaverse projects. Now, a core thesis of this channel is that gaming is taking over the internet and that crypto will take over gaming. Thus, the crypto gaming sector is one of the biggest potential gainers over the next several years. Now, it's important to understand how nascent this industry is, but once a trend gets hot in crypto, there are huge amounts of gains to be had within it, even if those projects are still a while from maturity or actual product market fit. So today we're going to be talking in realistic terms, a true guide as to how I plan to navigate the space short term, medium term, and long term, what realistic expectations could or should be, and of course a bunch of projects that are on my watch list or already in my bag. So if you guys are excited for this one, I think it's going to be one of my most jam-packed, information-filled episodes. Destroy that like button, obliterate it, crush it to death, because this is a seriously valuable piece of content, and the more likes this video gets, the more eyeballs YouTube will show it to. So please smash that like button. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe with that bell notification on. With that said, let's dive in. So here we are on the gaming charts, and I believe a lot of these games will have a huge amount of opportunity because they have so much capital right now. Even if their products aren't succeeding in market, they'll have enough capital to get other products or acquire other products that will achieve their goals. So that's why I think this early wave of crypto gaming projects is more special than it's letting on. And I'm going to be going through the ones I like. Now, I do believe that this bull run is in its late stages, and if it's anything like prior bull runs, we'll probably have a few weeks to maybe a few months of bullishness left, but you should really be positioning to take profits for an eventual bear market that should be coming at some point in 2022. Whether that's January or June, we don't know, but usually the way crypto works is it has wild overpricing, like what we're going to see. Maybe Axie Infinity will hit $100 billion or something like Facebook level like that. And then we'll see underpricing where it might come down 90%. And then you might be able to get in and buy something really, really cheap. So that's really what you want to do, is play the cycles. Know that you're here as we're about to bust through into some of the best profits of the cycle, but also know that those are usually followed by some of the worst losses. So just prepare yourself for a rocky, volatile road ahead. Now, with that said, there are several projects on here that I am holding or that I'm looking at that are not on here. Now, the first one is without a doubt Axie Infinity. This is the one that started it all with play to earn, and they have had remarkable success, and they're in a position at this point to grow some more, but I also think they're in a position to potentially acquire a really big game studio or game asset, and that's what I'd be doing if I was them right now. They have like $1 bajillion roughly scientifically in their treasury, and so if they decided to just acquire, because Sky Mavis is good at a lot of things, I don't think game development is the thing that they actually succeeded at the most, and I think they could easily buy that with the amount of money they have. They could buy a really amazing game to weave into their token economy, and so that's what I think is a big announcement that could send this up even further, and again, add some real long-term sort of fundamental value that will be hard for others to compete with. That's what I think is a possibility, and that's why I think AXS is still quite juicy, given that it is already a $40 billion fully diluted valuation, which means if it goes 2.5x from here, something like a 375, I believe, is the target, it would be at $100 billion, which is just an incredibly, incredibly big number. Anyway, a 2 to 5x, I would say, is about what you would expect from Axie, though, of course, long-term, I do see this one as having the potential to do really anything in the market, given how much capital it has. That's my strategy and sort of my outlook on Axie. Now we have Star Atlas, which I told you guys back when it first popped off here at, what was it, like 25 cents or whatever, that it was just completely unsustainable at like a $10 billion fully diluted. Now it's back to a $6 billion. And I also told you guys as it was coming down here and starting to flatline down here that getting some entries as it got lower and flatter and the curve flattened from the drop, that was where you should be looking. I said well under 10 cents. My target was 3 to 7. It didn't get down to that 3, but it got down to about 7 cents. And so if you did get in here, now you're in a good place, right? Buying these crashes is really where you want to be living, because then you're up here, I don't know, about 2-3x here. Whereas buying near all-time high, again, I'm not saying that Atlas can't pump. It certainly can, because it's got such an amazing product that it looks like it's going to ship. But essentially, you're looking for it to really take market share and to really proliferate through the market. And that's a big, big undertaking. Again, if Atlas does work, these numbers could be made to look puny in the future. No matter what the current valuations for this project are, Atlas is one of the best gaming projects in the space and could grow dramatically on a FOMO wave from here, even if the valuations seem a little bit kooky. That's just the reality. Now, of course, if you really love this project, you should be trying to get some profits during this last leg and prepare to buy the blood of whatever the next crash might be. Illuvium is very much in the same category as Star Atlas. It launched and it had about a $60 to $80 valuation, and now it's about 20x that. So the people who got in here early to Illuvium are laughing. They also have a very high quality product, almost like a AAA version of Pokemon. It's really, really cool. Again, they're shooting at a very high hilltop, and if they hit it, these valuations could start making sense and then some. So Illuvium, another blue chip in the space that I am holding. Then we have Sandbox. You know about Sandbox. It's the closest thing to a real metaverse we have. We also have Decentraland, but Sandbox to me is the one that is going to hit more of a broad audience because it's really a controlled and curated digital experience. It's more like a game than a metaverse right now, even though you can own land and do all these things. I'm a big fan of the team over there at Sandbox. As you can see, they've had a massive jump in price since the metaverse train really hit because of Facebook. The reality is that this one's already at very high prices. So just understand, just a few weeks ago, it was at 73 cents. Now it's at, a couple of bucks. Understand there could be some retraces here, but in the end, Sandbox is one of those where if the market crashes pretty hard, this is one that I think is definitely going to have a nice recovery. We also have Gala Games here, and as you can see, they have like several games here. They have Townstar Spider Tanks, which is a MOBA. They have Echoes of Empire, and then they have this one Mirandus, which is like an MMO where you can own land and do all this stuff. You can see that they have a couple of games in beta, and then they have a couple of games in development here. Look, Gala is kind of like a smattering play. If any of these games are truly successful, then Gala should have success as an ecosystem as well. So there is that, and I do love that they just have a smattering of projects. It sort of diversifies the risk for me, and that's what I like about Gala. Then there's also UFO. What I loved about UFO, and the reason why I was attracted to it, is because UFO capitalizes on both metaverse and memes. Now, of course, this is a little bit of a 10 IQ / 500 IQ play, because the reality is that meme coins have their own appeal within the market. And so this team is very hardworking. They've shown me working gameplay, and they're really pushing hard to try to have a community-built metaverse project. It's more of a GameFi project right now, where you sort of use your assets to farm. But the reality is that this is filling kind of like the current need, which is people want assets they could use to farm other assets and have that play to earn cycle. And they're sort of just rushing on that with the sort of meme type marketing. And that's why I liked it, because memes actually do really well in this ecosystem. And then attaching utility to the memes makes it even juicier. So this is my first real meme coin that I've kind of like hopped on and supported because of the metaverse connection. And that's why I supported it. And again, during the bullish times, you've seen this thing go. I believe we started covering it at about 100. It's at 2,291. I know it's like actually fractions of a penny, but I'm just saying those numbers because they're easier. It's up about 22x. It's been as high as 30x since we started covering it. And my target, I'm hoping to see this thing go another few x's from here, hopefully 5x from here. And then I'll be a very happy fellow. Next, we have Vulcan Forged. Now, what I liked about Vulcan Forged, again, is that they have several games they have out here. They're browser games. So there's sort of good and bad with browser games in that they are easier to access because you don't need to download a game client, but they're lower quality and they have less retention. So this is definitely, again, serving the need here, giving people that sort of metaverse where they can have land and farm and resources and things like that. It's just another one to have on your list because as the space pumps, I believe it will pump. I'm yet to see if any of their products are really industry leading. I don't think that's what they've gone for just yet, but the team is dead focused on shipping gaming experiences, and to me, that is the most important aspect of a project. So that's why Vulcan Forged is in my bag. Next, we have Sidus here, and Sidus is actually a really interesting project. I met with the team, and their whole focus on Sidus is creating browser game experiences that are as high fidelity as like Unreal Engine game experiences, and they were talking to me a lot about not only do they have like hundreds of people working on this project, which is actually crazy to hear, but they actually have been focused a lot on the technology of having browser experiences be super high quality with the goal of reaching, places that might not have the newest devices and tech and tablets. So this is a very interesting thing because if they accomplish this and they have a sort of leading browser experience that can allow for emerging nations to really access and play the games, this could be a real sleeper here. They're in pre-release phase, so they will have an IDO. Again, if you don't get in, these things can probably overpump. So the way to play this one is probably to wait for a massive dip after release and then get in at that point. I've only met with them a couple of times, but based on what I've seen, it seems like they're very committed and serious to building an industry-leading gaming product. It's very much much a competitor here to Star Atlas. So again, having Atlas, having Sidus, having some diversification across these types of games, knowing that if there is one big kind of space game that takes over, maybe it'll be this one, maybe it'll be Star Atlas, maybe it'll be Phantom Galaxies. We don't really know yet, but it doesn't hurt to kind of spread out your bets here, as it's very unclear who the eventual winner will be. Next, we have bigtime.gg. This one also doesn't have a token yet. I'm meeting with the team pretty soon to get a more in-depth analysis, but I know Becker really likes this one, and it does kind of feel like their art is a little unique. They went for this sort of shader approach to their art, and it does look like the gameplay is a little bit of a cut above the others. Again, I haven't played it myself, but this one's on my list of something I'm sizing up to potentially invest into in the near future, depending on what options are available. Next, we have Phantom Galaxies. This is one that is actually part of the Animoca family, so I've been talking with Animoca a lot about this one. You can actually get a free NFT just for connecting your wallet to the phantomgalaxies.com website. So this is a little bit of an alpha leak here that they're going to have a free NFT drop to anyone who connects their wallets. I actually went and connected all my wallets to this, so I would get each one of my wallets. A little cheeky, but you guys could probably do the same. And then what is kind of interesting here is, again, it's kind of like a mecha space game here. I'm looking into investing into this one and potentially advising it as well. So this is one that's on my list, of course. If this one does get super hyped, as it very well might in this late stage of the bull run, let it cool off before you size up your entry, as those early stages, looking at things like Star Atlas, you can see here that these early stages are often these FOMO peaks, and then you get really good entries a few weeks later. So in this case, it was about 30th of September. Yeah, about 4 weeks here, 3 weeks, you got a 75%, 80% discount here. So that's kind of the types of ratios we could see here. So I'd imagine the same would happen for any of these new hyped games, is you'll get this massive FOMO peak and then you'll get cool offs. Now, a sort of DeFi gaming, play to earn metaverse that isn't really talked about too much is Aavegotchi Ghost. I only have a very small position of this because the tokenomics are a little confusing and I'm not sure if they're the winners, but they have this really interesting method of using Aave to have NFTs that have yield-bearing assets within them. So it kind of sets this price floor of sorts on the NFTs. And they've just opened up a metaverse. It's got quite complex tokenomics. Some of my researchers are really bullish on it. I'm not fully convinced yet, but this is a very interesting project that you should check out and research, if only just to learn more about how certain projects are positioning play to earn tokenomics with a little bit more of a complex structure. Now, for a lower cap project, this is kind of one that just gives people a simple, stupid gambling experience, D-Race. And this is the kind of stuff where it doesn't really appeal to me as a user, but people love this stuff. This has been proven over and over again with projects like Zrun and So Rare, that people want to kind of gamble with their NFTs and win things. And D-Race is kind of like a baby version of those, even though not so baby anymore at 122 million. But again, whenever you see a fully working product with NFTs and a play to earn ecosystem, that's what's getting my attention. Is a lot of this stuff is complete vaporware. But D-Race has sort of been in my bag since about 160. I don't know what the peak of this could be, but there is a potential that if a gaming sort of niche pops up here in the tail end of 2021, that there could be a few X's left in the tank here. And finally, Immutable X is something worth looking at here. This is one, of course, that is still on its early sort of FOMO wave from IDO. As you can see, it hit like a $10 billion fully diluted. I happen to be working with the Immutable X team, and I have some visibility into some of the partnerships they have coming up. And, the TikTok thing is very emblematic of what they have going on. These guys launched the TikTok NFTs. They're a scalable layer 2 built on ZK rollups here in the crypto space. And so essentially they allow you to have Ethereum-based NFTs with no gas fees. And so Superfarm has actually partnered with Immutable X to launch some amazing projects, the first project of which will be announced in just a few days here. Make sure you're staying tuned, as they're really bringing in a lot of these very well developed, very well funded projects that aren't selling vaporware here, but they're actually having fully built products that you can actually use NFTs in today, which is super exciting, and to me is a big missing link to actually getting people to appreciating their NFTs. Being able to use them within digital worlds has always been my sort of fantasy and my belief, which is going to really connect the dots. That's why I started building video games in 2018, because I believe that is the missing link. Immutable X is going to be one of the most used platforms for NFTs that are going to be used in real digital worlds and high quality products with big brands and stuff like that. There's a lot of potential blue chip stuff coming through Immutable X, and of course big projects like TikTok. So keep your eyes on Immutable X. Again, I would let this thing settle out still because it's still coming off of this sort of FOMO wave and kind of bouncing around. Who knows where this could go? It's already quite expensive, but keep your eye on it. If there's a dip, that might be a good chance to load up, as I do believe that there will be more and more projects that continue to choose Immutable X as their base layer for NFTs. Now, finally, I have just on my notepad here 4 things that are coming soon that are not out yet. Again, there's Syndicate game, which is going to be announced soon. This is a project that I have been working with for some time, helping advise them, and I have invested into them. Same with Monkey Ball. Both of these look very high quality as far as games, and I'm expecting for them to be very interesting topics to sort of hopefully join the ranks of the Star Atlases and the Illuviums here as the tip of the spear for AAA blockchain gaming. Now, we also have Pocket Worlds and Knock Knock Games, which are 2 projects coming to the launchpad on Super Farm with Immutable X. You'll be hearing a lot about those very soon. But one of these, Pocket Worlds, is actually an existing product with 1 million active users on it that is going to be integrating NFTs. So that kind of stuff gets me really excited when they have an existing user base already. And finally, Imposters is the AAA social gaming metaverse built on Super Farm, and that is going to be announced in the coming weeks here. So all of these are ones that don't have like public materials yet that I can show you. They're not quite ready for the release, but of course these games are on my radar. And of course this game is being built in partnership with Super Farm on top of the protocol. So obviously I have visibility into that one. Now, what matters in these games is network effect. Network effect, network effect, network effect. The projects with really strong communities can build that network effect, or existing big networks can create a massive gaming community. That's why I'm so obsessed with community and network effect here in crypto. And the spider senses around network effect are what will drive me and guide me towards my ultimate destination here of finding the games that will truly achieve mainstream adoption. It's been my singular focus, my obsession for years now. And this is a long, but actually not exhaustive list of all the games that I'm looking at. I'll continue to update this list in real time going forward, but I hope this has been a nice starting point so you can at least understand what's out there and the things that are either in my bag already or that I'm looking to add in the near future. Again, be really wary and careful of buying right after launch on projects, as sometimes those can mark FOMO tops that is really hard for the price to get back there. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this and got a serious amount of value out of it. And if you did, smash that like button, crush it, obliterate it, just push it with your mouse, and it really helps this video get out to more eyeballs, as I think a video like this is really needed for people to know how to understand, internalize, and navigate the gaming space here in crypto land. With that said, I'm EllioTrades. You can find me on Twitter at EllioTrades. The link is in the description. You can also sign up for my newsletter at elliotrades.xyz. As always, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.